What's up guys, welcome back and welcome to some Automobilista 2, and yes, this is the big one. Version 1.4 is here guys, and Reiza claims this to be a very big one. Now what we're going to do today is, if you haven't got any of the DLC, there's 4 new cars that you get for free and there's a couple of new tracks. What we'll do is, this is one of them, this is Fontana. Oval racing's also here, but we're not going to be doing any oval racing, maybe save that for another day. But I haven't drove any of the cars we're going to drive. There's like a GT4 one, there's a GT3, there's a truck, there's a Mini. So we're going to get, the only time I've drove it, I've done 3 laps on this track here. I just thought I'd do the intro in a GT3 car, and wow, what a difference I could. In the force feedback, it felt like there was more dampening in the wheel. That's the first feeling I got. And the detail in the track surface is just absolutely brilliant like that. That's the biggest thing I've noticed just off them first few laps. There might be a few new skins as well, because I can't remember seeing this one anyway. But yeah, Fontana 2. Once there's an oval version of this. This is like an infield. It's basically like a technical version of Daytona. That's the best way I can describe it. But I haven't drove any of these cars, so if we crash, we'll crash. This is going to be like my raw thoughts, and we'll stitch it all together. You know, it's going to be a bit of a longer video, but you know, it's going to be great fun at the same time. What we'll do is, I think we'll drive the GT4 Mercedes though. We'll go at this track as well. We'll quickly check out the model of that then. So this is the first car that we're going to be driving guys. It's the Mercedes AMG GT4. It's powered by a 4-litre V8. It's got about 464 brake horsepower. So I think it's going to be similar. There is a GT3 version of this car. So I think it's just going to be a little bit like that one, a little bit less downforce. I'm not sure on the power. I think the power's pretty similar though. But it's just a version of that one, less downforce. That's the best way I can describe it, I would have thought. But the modeling's done so well, you know, But this version 1.4, I would say this is like 1.0 though. That's what I would basically call it. But there's the specs for the car. I'll just quickly show you this, because this is the track we're going to go to, Fontana, and there's an oval version and there's a road course of it. We'll drive the road course version. But I just want to show you this. This is different. There used to be like for your aggression, there used to be like a slider, where now they've just put like low, medium or high, which I think is a great touch. It is better. It's less choice, you know. But we'll have this opponent level at about 100. It's about what I usually do with that. But yeah, guys, well, that's not the car we want, is it? We want the GT4 Mercedes. Make sure we pick the right car now. But yeah, guys, put your seatbelts on. Let's get this Mercedes whirling. Right guys, the lights are up, clutch in, into first, revving it out. Let's release this clutch, let's see what this 4-litre V8's all about. Turbocharged power, turbo power, off we go. GT4, nice addition. This is free, all the content you're going to see today is free. It's not from the DLC. But I don't know this track very well. I've only done a few laps in it, but onto the oval, it is an oval version of this as well. But oh, the force feedback there, I really feel it loading up. When I'm pushing in, I can feel the tyre, front end of the tyre start to scrub and push wide. That feels brilliant. Get on the brakes actually. I can't see a thing, I don't know where to go. Massive bit of contact there. Go around the outside of the load of them. Oh, up the inside now. I forgot about that. Oh, then I've lost the car. Never mind. Remember, this is my first time driving the car, so I am going to lose it a little bit. But it's like Daytona. It's like a more technical version of Daytona. I've lost the rear, I've caught the rear. And on the power, look at that. Oh wow, that was totally on the limit through there. You could see the car, the way it was moving about on its tyres, but I felt everything through the force feedback. It just felt right. But on the intro, the AI still do need a few little touch-ups on this track, because they do crash a lot. I've seen them have, before I'd just done a quick 3-lap race, and they'll have some major crashes, the AI, big crashes. But the bodywork and everything was going flying. It seems like they've done a lot of work on the damage from what I've seen. I've seen somebody's bonnet went flying up in the air before. It was just pretty nuts, very exciting you know. But anyway, look at the mountains in the background there, Fontana. This is what I keep saying about Reiza though, you know, they hide these tracks in where you wouldn't see anywhere else. Who'd have thought that we're going to put a track in from Fontana? I would never have guessed it. Anyway, into fourth, onto the oval again. Onto lap number 2, red out into 5th. Let's get tucked in behind the Porsche Cayman. But it's a pretty quick car, isn't it? This might actually have more of a top speed than the GT3 car, because it's got less downforce, you know. Let's see if I can go flat in here, just throw it in. The tyre scubbling, I can feel it. You can see the car starting to push right. I'm going to have to lift out of it. But the track detail, that's the key, guys. The surface detail on the track is just, it's just absolutely brilliant. Now, I've never tried R Factor 2. Now, that's meant to be like the best in its class. R Factor 2 is meant to be the best for feel, but I've got a nice like springy feeling. I can feel the suspension load up there. Wow. Yeah, but R Factor 2 is meant to be the king for detail, but which I've never really tried. But if it's anything like this, it must be brilliant, you know, because little hint of oversteer coming out the corner. But that used to be my favourite GT4 car, that McLaren in front. It used to be, but I think I might be on for a new contender now with this, because I normally prefer the front engined rear wheel drive like setup, like layout on cars. That's what I normally prefer. It normally suits my driving style more. But look how well it's putting its power down. There's none of that overpronounced oversteer what the game used to have. Like, it's changed so much that ours will go up the inside of the McLaren on the brakes. That was pretty late actually. Down into second gear, whoa, on the limits of grip there. Feed the power in nicely. Little kick oversteer. But I love, look at the way it just goes left and right. What a great track design actually. Oh, you can hear the tyre scubbling a little bit there. But anyway, got the corner the most we can. On to lap number 3. I'll tell you what we'll do this time, guys. We'll have a listen to this V8 and give it a good listen. Be an urge. We're back! Woohoo! Hey, it sounds like a beast in it. It's got that lovely V8 grumble to it. I really like the sound of it, but the GT3 ones, it pretty much sounds the same from what I can hear. It's got a nice clunk when it goes into gear as well. As we go up the inside, nicely into 6th gear, you've got to get on the brakes once you come out here pretty early. Down the inside with a few of them. Come and hold that line. It's going to squeeze with though. We'll squeeze him at the same time, give him room on the inside. Feed the power in nice and gently. A little bit of hint oversteer. Maybe I should have turned the traction control off a bit and seen what that was like. Let's go up the inside very late on the brakes. I've lost it. Never. It was always going to happen, wasn't it? Guys, like, normally I would probably restart the video, but this is my first time trying the car, so we're just going to have to leave these little blunders in. So it might be a little bit different to the normal stuff, but we'll just roll on with it. This is the last lap as well. Right, you really lean on the car through there though, but the detail. I know I'm repeating this earlier, but it's just so detailed. It actually feels quite precise, this car as well. It feels very nimble at the front end. It's very manageable, very adjustable on the throttle. I really could go and enjoy this car and put more time into it, but on the brakes nice and late. I don't know where the brake points are or anything, but going to there. You can see it's on the limit of grip there. Maybe should have dropped it into second, but nice rotation when I'm coming on the power. I love the way the track goes left to right there though. You can hear the tyres scrubbing there. Anyway, ease into the throttle nice and progressively. Wow. Just a quick 5-minute race, so that's 4 laps we got done. It's enough to give a good taste of each of the new cars, you know. Race over, but what an absolute blast that was then, eh? Let's just quickly watch a little bit of this replay and see what it's about. But guys, what a great start, you know. Version 1.4 is here. Now I do think this is what 1.0 really, this is what 1.0 should have been, but oval racing I haven't tried yet, but great first start with this car. It feels very, very controllable at the rear, you know. Like, the biggest change for me is when I first played EMS1, it had, like, from the rear, the cars were very oversteery, you know, but that didn't bother us in a sense. But now you've got a much better connection to the rear of the car, and the front end, the way the front end of the car slips, you can feel every little minute, like, maneuver, you can feel everything the car's doing, you know, that as soon as the car starts to push the wheel, you can just feel it tugging in the force feedback, and the detail is just, wow, blow me away. But next up, we've got a Mini, 1965 Mini. Anyway, I should have maybe kept that as a bit of a surprise, but a lot of you will probably know this. But yeah, let's get on to the next one. So the next car we're going to be driving is this Mini from 1965. Now this fits into the Copa like Fusca class. I'll show you in a minute. It's got about 120 brake horsepower, 117, but front wheel drive fun, you know. It's a Mini. These things, I used to want a Mini when I was younger. I've always loved the Mini. I just love checking out the modelling. There's no alias or anything there. It looks brilliant. But this comes into the Fusca class, the Fusca base, so you've got like 5 cars in this class now, you know. That's all you can fit actually as well, but there's the specs. 4-speed H-pattern manual gearbox. It weighs 1,500 pounds. I think that's about 700-800 kilos. But it's only the 1.2. I thought it would have been the 1.6. The Cooper S, I thought it was a 1.6. So it's basically like a 1,300. But the only liveries you only get 2 at the minute. But I would have thought they would have added quite a few more in the future. And the track we're going to go to is another new track. It's called, what is it? Gateway. You get an oval version as well, and you get like a short road course. We're going to go to the long version. It cuts that like banked thing out on the bottom. Great stuff, yeah. 3 tracks, you know. But yeah, guys, let's get whirling in the Mini. Right, guys, let's get the tin Mini whirling into first gear. Let the clutch out. I've lowered the seat height as well because it was sitting quite high. Anyway, we will go into second gear, revving it out into third. The track's called Halfway. I don't know if this is a real circuit or not. I haven't got a clue. I maybe should have looked into that, but anyway, before it, whoa, you can see the understeer when I got on the brakes here. The brakes locked up straight away. Whoa, whoa, this is very different. Whoa, whoa. Now front wheel drive in the MS2. When I first drove them, I wasn't sure. I was like, oh wait, the cars are too reactive. It's like when it's as soon as you go into a corner and you lift off, you get lift off oversteer like instantly. See what I mean? But now it's not as bad as it used to be. But oh, I can feel the tyre scrubbing there. But I haven't got a clue which way this circuit goes. Anyway, on the brakes, lock them up a little bit, get them down to first. Oh, just a little car for the longer nose, he would have took it off. You can see on the power, when you can see the car with the understeer, like you really do steer the car with the throttle a lot, like a lot more than what you think. But this seems a lot better. It's got that lift off oversteer. You can see it's starting to go in there, but like there, as soon as you lift off the throttle, that's what I mean. It just goes in. It's just all over the place in a way. But I've never drove a Mini, but I can imagine them feeling like similar to this. You've got to be very careful actually. Like the very reactive cars can get into second gear, up the inside, or squeeze them out of the wall. Another great little circuit though into third gear, right, and onto the oval. This is like a smaller oval in Fontana. Into fourth, revving it out. See the car starting to understeer a little bit there, but got decent heat in the tyres. It feels typically front wheel drive, you know, it's got that front wheel drive feel. Might get an extra lap in here as well, and grip that throttle. It sounds like a Mini as well. You can see there's that, look at that, it's just very reactive to when you lift off the throttle. Very reactive. Right, feed the power nice and gentle. Not bad, for 120 horsepower, it's pretty quick. But this is a great little group of cars. These are one of my favourite groups of cars to race on the game. That's my favourite car in front row. It's a Chevette. It's like an old Vauxhall Chevette. It's rear wheel drive that though. There's a couple of rear wheel drives and front wheel drives. Oh, I locked the wheels up massively there. Oh, kick of the curb. The curb, the feel I'm getting through the curbs as well feel great. But look at the size of the curbs. They're huge. Anyway, nice, decent. But it does feel like it's a lot tamer in the rear since the last front wheel drive car was the Fiat Uno. But you can see as soon as you lift off the throttle, there's oversteer, you know, like it just takes a total different skill. It will take quite a bit of time to like master this car, I feel. Get that throttle, like lift off there, then you can really like, you've got to like get your line right on the power. But I'm off and on the throttle all the time, really. That's not really what you should be doing. Like, it's just 'cause I'm not used to the car, that's all that is. But little lift. See, normally though, like, I was getting a lot more lift off, like too much lift off oversteer, but that seems to have tamed down a little bit. Because there is already a Mini on the game. I don't know if it's exactly the same one. It might not be, it might be a little bit different, but 4th gear pegged. Tell you what, let's have a little listen to it anyway. This 1.3 little beast. Oh, be nudge. And we're back. Woohoo! Wow, not a bad little car. I'm having a little job on keeping up actually. Let that throttle down to 3rd, but I'm just all over the place, off and on the throttle. It's like there, got out of shape. What you've got to do is you've got to like plant your foot to get the front end of the car to bite back into the tarmac. It's a total different style to rear wheel drive, very different. Anyway, I'll caught them up a little bit. Like, get on the power flat now. Like, a little bit of torque steer. I can feel a torque steer as well. I can feel the car pulling to one side when I'm come back on the power. Oh nice, we've got on the power decent there though. That Puma's a great car, I do like that one. That's rear wheel drive as well. Down to 2nd gear. Oh, been planted up the inside though. Quite aggressive there though, but he's wants that line, he's not giving that one up. Into 3rd gear nicely. I feel the curbs as well. The curb feel feels brilliant actually. Like, oh, the rear of the cars want to just step out there though. And I leave it in 3rd, like there, like I cannot settle the car, that's there, nice and smooth. That's the way to do it, like and on the power just flatten it. Like you can see, it's adjusting the line with the throttle. It's very adjustable. But I don't know if like what I was thinking about doing is going back and trying the front wheel drive cars in EMS1, because I know people swear by that title. And I was going to put them back to back. Maybe it's the Fiat Uno, like. Just do like a 10-minute race in each. If you want to see that, let us know in the comments and we'll do it. But there you can see the understeer building up, the car starting to push there. But it might be one more lap. I don't think it might be though, that might be it. We're doing another gear though. Yeah guys, the Tin Men. So that was the Mini. Another great addition, you know, but the front wheel drive cars, they're very reactive. Like if you're going into a corner at any sort of speeds and you lift off the throttle, that back end's just going to be gone. I wonder if you can see it here on the replay, but Minis are so small, aren't they, when they get, you can see how small they actually are when they get beside another car. But you know, I can imagine this being great for some online racing if you're into that. I'm not really an online racer, but it would be great, you know, like a few is blasting about in the Mini. But it does feel better than it did, like, not the Mini, the last time. Like, I have drove front wheel drive cars before and I just wasn't sure about them. Like, I didn't know what to think, whether I liked it or not, but I did like that. It was starting to come to us a bit, but the cars are just so reactive. Like, if you're going into a long right-hander or left-hander, if you just wiggle your toe, come off the throttle, like that oversteer is just instant, you know. Like, I wonder if you can see it in the replay. That's what I'm just looking for. Maybe it's in here. There is a long left hand, like this. Oh, it's on two wheels there though, like this one. You can't really see it on the, like, you can just see it's like on and off the power trying to, there you can see it's, I can't get the line right, I can't get a nice smooth line with it. But it's just a learning curve, that's all it is. Gotta remember, this is the first time I've drove these cars, all of these cars, but what a great addition it was. You can see it looks like it's rear wheel drive, it looks like it's fighting for grip. Number 99 as well, who's that again? Whose number's that? Oh, never mind, you'll be off topic there, but yeah guys, the Tin Men's another great addition to EMS too. Next up guys, we've got this, it's a Ginetta G55 Gt3. It's got a 4.3 litre naturally aspirated V8. It's got about 520 brake horsepower. Now what Reiza's done is here, which I'm quite surprised with, instead of putting this into its own category, I mean, instead of putting it into the GT3 category, they've put it in its own category. It races against the Ultimate GTR, which is another great car, what I really do like, Ultimate GTR, but great looking race cars these, you know. Like, look at the wing on it, it looks like a GT3 RS wing with a like swan tail rear on it. You see the side exhaust as well, I've just noticed that, but I'll show you what I mean. Like this, it's called the GT Open, and it races against this, the Ultimate GTR. Now, I don't know, like, maybe I think I would rather run it on its own, like, because in real life, they do run on their own, the Ginettas, but this is a great car as well. It's a great car on the EMS1, this as well, though, the Ultima. They're both British built, but we're going to try this. We might as well try them both together, but yeah, the track where should we take it? Let's say Alton Park. Right then, put your sim belts on, let's get wheeling. Right then, revs are up, revving it out, clutch into first. Right then, just release the clutch, flatten the power first, into second. Now this is the Ginetta GT3, but what a great addition this thing is now. Just listen to the thing. Wow, I really like the way it sounds. Oh, I can feel it. The track detail is just absolutely brilliant. I feel every little bump, right, and on the brakes hard. Third, get it in. Four-wheel drifting there, into fourth. Car feels brilliant actually. What a great addition this is. Got to get hard on the brakes there. I normally lose the car a lot coming into there, like in any car, but this is the first time I've drove this, so oh, it does like the oversteer though, but it puts its power down pretty decent actually. I thought it was gonna be a lot wilder at the rear. Right, if we can put a nice gentle little hit oversteer. But just listen to the thing. Oh, it sounds brilliant. Got some nice gear wind to it as well. We'll get down to second gear. Clip the curbs the best we can. On the power nicely there. Lift out of it. Oh, way wide of the apex there though. Right, revving out in the third. Alton Park's quite a technical circuit as well. It's really narrow for GT3 style cars. Down to third gear, but the AI seem like they're going really quick here. Put its power down brilliantly there though, into fifth. Right, hard on the brakes, into second gear. Get the nose in, right, I want to get on the power nice and early. Oh, I got on the power really early there. Car put it down, a little wiggle from the rear. Can we get up the inside into turn one? I don't know, it's not the best place to overtake. I'm going to just back out of it, clip the curb. Oh, way wide of the corner there, into fourth. But what a great car this is. For free, I've way overcooked it into there. I don't know how I held on to that. But I definitely feel like the force feedback's got more damping in it since the last time I drove the MS2. It's definitely got more weight in the wheel. I've actually had to turn the force feedback down a little bit, but oh, see the car rotate on the brakes there, on the power, oh, great stuff. Can we get up the inside? We're gonna have to cut the curbs. Oh, that was a bit messy. On the limit, on the raggy edge, going through there into third. That 4.3 litre V8 sounds absolutely nuts. And with that gear whine as well, I do like a little bit of gear whine now and then. But it feels like quite a neutral car, like it slides at the front just as much as it does at the rear. It's got quite a bit of understeer, but that could be all down to the setup, you know. This is just the default setup. I'm going to listen to it when you're revving it out though. Down to third gear. Like this car would take quite a bit of time to master. I feel like it's quite sketchy actually. It's a bit sketchier than what I first thought. Get down to second gear. Hug the inside line, then feed the throttle in nice and progressive, then flat into third. There's 2 laps down. Let's have a listen to this mad V8 engine. I'm on the right job on trying to keep up with the AI, yeah. It seems like the AI's way faster at Alton Park. But sometimes it used to be the other way around with me. I used to be way faster than the AI in most cars, but that's not the case, yeah. Got the AI on 100% as you've seen at the start, and they're a little bit too quick for us. Maybe I just haven't got used to the car on the edge, but I don't know if it's either that or that Ultima is a little bit faster than this. Maybe that's what it is. Or it's just down to nice skill, but I haven't got the pace. No, I'm way away there though. But remember, this is my first time driving any of these cars, so I'm not going to be like Mr. Speedy straight away. And on the power, a little bit of, you can see a tiny bit of oversteer on, and more oversteer on the exit. See where the brake as well, where the track's starting to rubber in. My glasses are all steamed up. I can barely see where I'm going. Actually, me when I'm so slow up anyway on the power. This would take like a lot of time to master, and that's rightly so. This, you know, like, but normally GT3 cars, they're normally pretty easy to drive on the limit. Where I don't feel like that's the case with this. It's pretty much on the limit through there though. You can see the car when it's on the limit. Like you get a lovely feeling through the force feedback. Hard on the brakes. Oh, we overcooked it. I thought I'd overshot that there. But we're nowhere near competitive there, which is far too slow. But another great addition. Oh, there's another lap. There's one more lap, so we're getting an extra lap in here. Oh, cool. I'm not complaining. Maybe a very wide line there. Let's let him go, see if we can follow him. Let's get down to second gear. Right then, on the power now. Feel it. Short shift into third. Getting these slips through the best we can. That's another great car ahead though, that Ultima. It's actually one of my favourites. I know I say that about a lot of cars down to 4, but look at the speed he can carry through there. I feel like that's got more like downforce than us or something. It looks way quicker, way easier to drive on the limit. It's not an easy car to drive by any means, that, but you can see it just seems like it's got a little bit more poke coming out the corners. Feet power in nice and gentle, nice and progressive. Oh, big kick oversteer on the exit. I just can't put the power down like the Ultima. That's mid-engine though as well, this is front engine. Down a couple of cogs. A little bit wider the curb the way I want it to be. Yeah, excuse me. Feed that power in nice and gentle. But there, I just can't get on the power like the Ultima. It's like that on the EI is just a little bit too high, but normally 100% is like normally like a nice competitive level for me. Maybe it's a track as well. I haven't drove this track for a long time, so it could just be that. On the brakes for the final time. See, I caught him a little bit there on the brakes. Or way wide though. There's loads of like elevation change at this track. It's a brilliant track. And that was that. So then let's quickly check out and replay this. Wow, guys, what a great addition this car is. But I really did struggle to keep up with that Ultima. That Ultima just had so much pace. Like, maybe we were a little bit better on the brakes, but that just seemed to pull out of the corners much better than the Ginetta. Like I says, I don't know if I would rather race this on its own instead of. I don't know if the Ultima's like the best car to race against. Like, maybe I need to go back and do a little bit more testing, but the car's a great car. Like, it does like the oversteer, like there's plenty, like you can really feel it moving about on its tyres actually for a GT3 car. Like on the other GT3 cars, like I was driving the Porsche earlier on, and like when you come back on the power in that, there's absolutely no oversteer at all. It just grips and goes. Where this is a total other story, but it's a different engine layout, you know. But the best thing about this car is the way it sounds. It sounds lovely, doesn't it? It's got like a nice high pitch to it, but the Ultima sounds brilliant as well. Let's have a listen when it's coming out. Yeah, like the external sounds are different. Oh, it sounds beastly. You can mainly hear the Ultima though, that V8 rumble. They've both got V8s, like, but yeah, guys. So there's one more car we're going to be driving, but is it a car? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a truck. It's a truck, guys. Yes. Now the trucks are meant to have got the latest tyre updates, so it's got the latest tyre carcass on and stuff like that. Now this is the new truck as well. It's the Vulkan truck. I don't think it's a real, like, based on any real truck, but I think this is the new one. Correct us if I'm wrong. I hope it's the bloody new one. I don't want to get that wrong, but look at the size of the turbo on the back here. This thing's got 1200 brake horsepower. Look at the turbo on the back of it, man. It's absolutely monstrous. Look at the size of the engine, man. Big dirty diesel. Let's quick. But look, you get, there's 5 trucks. This is, I think this is the new one, but it's not the least powered. That one's got 1290, the Mercedes one, 1210 and 1230. But we might as well drive the new one. But if I can remember anything by these, like, they didn't really turn very well. So let's see what these are about. So put your sim belts on for the final time. I tell you what, we'll take it to Cascavel. Right, guys, let's give this dirty diesel a rev. 1200 horsepower. Release the clutch. 7 tons this thing weighs. It's absolutely huge. But if I remember rightly, oh, look at the bloody smoke. It's a dirty diesel. I've never noticed that before. I'm sure that's new. All that smoke's new. But if I remember rightly, like when you used to turn in the trucks, it barely didn't even turn. It was all done on the throttle, really. And that's how these are driven in real life. But like, what I mean is, they did not turn at all. When you turned in on it with the steering wheel, it just didn't turn at all. That seems to be different. These first thoughts is, on the first EMS, on EMS 1, they were much better on that, like just from memory, like they did turn this, and this feels more like that. Or you can see the oversteer there, but this feels more like the ones on the first one, like it's turning. Yeah, that's much better actually from what I can remember. In the 5th, anyway, Cascavel's a great circuit. These trucks actually do race here. 3rd gear, 7 tons. This thing's got a 12 litre turbocharged engine in this. The engine's in the back, you can see, look at the turbo, you can see the turbo on the back bar. A little bit of oversteer anyway, into 4th, 3 wide, 3 into 5th. It's going to be last of the late breakers in this. We're going to get sandwiched, I feel, at the end of this. We're getting the brakes nice and early. You've got to slow all that weight down. 7 ton of weight, that's a lot of weight. anyway on the power. Whoa, these are great actually. I think I need to drive more of these. It just feels so much better on this new tyre. So much better. Anyway, on the brakes, grip that throttle down the floor. You can see the oversteer. 4th gear. You don't want to drop down the gearbox too much because like they'll just spin. You want to just keep it in the higher gears and use the torque of the motor. But another thing I forgot to say about 1.4 is it's got mechanical failures. So like you can get like coolant leaks and like cars will break down, which is a great little touch. Like you'll see cars smoking and they'll break down at the side of the track. Like that's new. Like that's smoke, but I don't know if that's just because like that's what happens in these, because when you watch them on the TV you can see them smoking like that. Just all that dirty diesel getting burnt. But great little start. What a great little... Oh, I feel the understeer there though. But there you can see it's rotating the car on the power. It does rotate quite nice actually. And on the power to turn it. You have got to use the power to help it turn though. But it just turns so much better. Anyway, into 4th. I don't know if I've got some on up the inside or the outside. Oh, okay, come on, get last of the late breakers out, get up the inside of the Mercedes onto lap number 2. Oh, that was might have been a little bit late on the brakes. Down to 3rd. On the limit. Nice. Into 4th. But these have been reworked, these trucks, and I can really tell there's a big difference. Like on some of the tracks as well, they've got like speed limits where you're not allowed to go over 100 miles an hour. Where I've got that turned off, so go pretty much fast as we want now. But 4th gear, use that torque. See the rotation on the power nicely. But overheating the tyres a little bit, but that's understandable before that weight, you know. Over this bit of the track, you just pitch it in. Down to, I'm going to be into 3rd gear, come up the inside. I was thinking about it. Like, steer there like I'm steering. But it's got real turbo lag as well. Like Reiza Model A turbo is brilliant. And like these cars have got real turbo lag. Anyway, into 5th. Come and get on the brakes. Oh, like I thought I'd went in there way too hot. But like it's got a lot of turbo lag though, with that huge turbo. Like you can like anticipate getting back on the power. You've got to get on the power pretty early and anticipate that lag really. Anyway guys, let's have a listen to this 12 litre beast. Racing this is providing though. Like the AI are great on the the AI do feel like they're a little bit better again, you know. We're always getting that little bit better. Like, but what a blast this thing is to drive. This is what's great about the MS2 as well. All the diversity, all the different types of cars you've got on it to drive. Oh, I've been sandwiched. Oh no, I got sandwiched. I'm gonna have to cut the course. This is major cheating this, like, but I majorly got sandwiched. Right, get down to second gear. Right, onward. this should be the last lap. We might actually get one more lap. We might, depends whether the leader's on the final lap or not. But you can tell these are big heavy vehicles. Like there's so much lag. Like you've got to wait, and then the power kicks in, and then they just start to rotate. Like there's nothing, and there. Oh, I just pushed into an understeer there, but they're a different skill in its own right. Like very diverse amount in this video, isn't it? Into fifth. I always think that this is the final straight for some reason at this track. Anyway, the brakes. Trying to slow all that rate down to the hard bit, isn't it? Right, we might get one more lap if we're lucky. We might. Yeah, we will, I think. Will we? No, that's it. Oh, I was wrong. What we'll do is we'll get to the conclusion and check out this replay. Right guys, that was all four of the new vehicles and a couple of the new tracks. So what did you think of that then? What I thought I'd do is, instead of like making all the like 4 different videos, I thought I would just throw all 4 cars into one video and make it like, we'll call it like a casual review. I'm not really a reviewer, I don't review things, but I just like to make different types of videos all the time, you know. But I can't get over the size of that turbo on the back of there. What an absolute blast this thing is to drive though. Like, you can really tell the big heavy vehicles when you're throwing them into corners. They just feel massive. And they've got real turbo lag. That's the biggest surprise, like for me, like how much turbo lag. Well, it's not a surprise really, it makes sense, you know. Like these engines aren't built for racing, but they're good for racing. They've just got so much power. You've got to remember, these are 12 litre engines, 12 litres with a turbocharger. They're just absolutely potty. There you can see it there. But great close racing, and it was great until I knocked the race up, you know. But like, I'm not going to restart the race or anything like. But what I am thinking about doing in these trucks is doing a comparison, like on EMS 1 to this, like putting them back to back, see how they do compare. But now these feel so much more like the original ones. From what I can remember, they feel very similar now. Like, because before, when you go into a turn, you would put all the steering lock in and they would just go straight on. You would have to steer it with the throttle like you had to. Where on the first game, it wasn't like that. You could steer them with a wheel. But great fun at the same time. But guys, let us know in the comments what you thought of this video. You know, that's going to be it for today though. Thank you so much for watching. We love yous and leave yous. Peace from the northeast. Poodles.